Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a focused look at a really crucial systematic review from safety science. It's all about safety culture, safety climate, and safety performance, specifically within healthcare facilities.
That's right. And our mission really is to unpack what these terms actually mean, look at how they're measured, and explore why understanding their connection is so vital for, well, for your grasp of healthcare safety. There are some pretty insightful findings here that might surprise you.
Okay, let's dive in then. We hear safety culture and safety climate used almost interchangeable sometimes, don't we? So what's the actual difference according to the sources?
Yeah, that's a great starting point because they are closely linked, but definitely not the same thing. Safety culture,
Yeah.
think of it as the bedrock. The International Atomic Energy Agency definition talks about those shared beliefs, attitudes, competencies, and behavior patterns. It's the DUP stuff, the shared values.
Right, the underlying philosophy almost.
Exactly. And safety climate. That's more about the surface, the current temperature, you could say. It's how employees perceive safety in their day-to-day work, their views on rules, procedures, management attitudes right now.
So it's like a snapshot measurement of the culture.
Precisely. A measurable reflection.
Mm.
And obviously, both are really fundamental if you want to improve safety outcomes. You need both the foundation and the positive perception.
Okay, that makes sense. So here's something interesting the review points out. Industries like aviation, oil, and gas, they've made huge safety strides. But healthcare, it's described as being in its early phases with safety culture. Why the lag? What's going on there?
Well, a big piece of it seems to be how safety performance gets measured.
Yeah.
Traditionally, those high-risk industries often relied heavily on reactive measures.
Yeah.
So counting accidents, injuries, things that have already happened.
Looking backwards, essentially.
Right. And the review really questions if that's the best way, especially for healthcare.
And the source suggests, no, right, that relying just on reactive counts can be unreliable. Maybe things go unreported or the measures just aren't sensitive enough.
Exactly that. There's underreporting, lack of sensitivity.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you the full picture. So for healthcare, which this review actually calls a low-risk industry in the specific context of measurement frequency, there's a strong push towards proactive measures.
Proactive. So looking ahead, preventing things.
Yes, precisely. Focusing on preventing incidents before they happen. Things like observing safety behaviors, checking compliance, getting employees actively involved in safety. It's about identifying risks and acting first. And this approach, well, it tends to boost motivation and gives a much more reliable picture of safety.
That's a really key shift. So focusing proactively, what did this review, looking at those 11 studies, actually find about the connection between culture, climate, and performance?
Okay, this is crucial. They found a clear negative correlation between a good safety culture or climate and those reactive measures, meaning, basically, better culture, better climate, fewer reported incidents, which makes sense.
Fewer bad outcomes.
Right. But maybe even more importantly, they found a significant positive correlation with the proactive measures. So a strong culture and climate directly predict better, safer behaviors from staff. It leads to people doing safer things.
Wow. Okay. So it's not just about fewer accidents. It's actively promoting safer actions day to day. That's powerful. Did the review highlight any specific elements of culture or climate that seemed most important?
It did, yeah. Two things consistently popped up across the studies. First, management commitment and supervision. That was in 73% of the studies. And second, safety resources, policies, and training that showed up in 82%.
So visible leadership commitment and having the right tools and training are absolutely key.
Definitely. Leadership commitment is huge. Supervisors, for example, are seen as that sort of conduit. You know, they translate the safety goals down to the frontline staff and make sure people have what they need.
It really paints a clear picture. Fostering that strong safety culture and climate, really leaning into proactive measures, and ensuring leaders are visibly committed.
Yeah.
That seems to be the path forward for healthcare safety.
That sums it up perfectly. This deep dive really highlights that critical shift towards being proactive, not just reactive. And maybe, for you listening, it sparks a question. If positive morale and safety awareness, what we might call safety satisfaction, are so important, how can we better integrate that feeling, that satisfaction, into how we actually measure and track safety progress moving forward? Something to think about.